Picture an industry built on freedom, rebellion, and counterculture. An industry where music is supposed to be the voice of the people. But what if behind the scenes that freedom comes with conditions? What if access to stages, artists, and audiences is quietly controlled by a few powerful hands? Tonight, we're talking to someone who says he's built a thriving independent empire, only to discover that success himself made him a target. A man who claims one company had the power to shut down festivals, pressure artists, and erase competitors without ever stepping into the spotlight. This isn't a story about secret bunkers or classified files. It's about control, who has it, and what happens when you refuse to give it up. Welcome to Cocktails and Conspiracies.
Raise your glass to mysteries, cocktails and conspiracies. Dive into these histories, cocktails and conspiracies. Raise your glass to mysteries, cocktails and conspiracies. Uncover those anomalies, cocktails and conspiracies.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, whether you're tuning in across the nation or around the world. My name is Shane Squarrick, and I am joined by the keeper of the backstage pass, Mr. Phillips. We are your conspiracy realists, back with another great episode of your favorite sip-driven conspiracy conversation. And tonight, we are joined by a guest whose story sits right at the intersection of music, power, and corporate control. Tommy Dorfman. Tommy, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot for having me on, guys.
Yeah, am I pronouncing the last name right?
Dorfman.
Oh, there's an F in there.
Yeah, you can call me Tommy D.
Tommy
that's what
D.
I go by in the club world.
I love it. It's good enough for me there. I wanted to kind of dive in here a little bit. A lot of our listeners know Live Nation, they know Ticketmaster, but they probably don't know you. And I think that's really where the story starts for us. Before lawsuits, before investigations, before any of that, who were you before this fight? Take us back. Who is Tommy D, and how do you even get into the nightlife world in the first place?
Yeah, so I was just your regular younger kid from North Jersey. My father had passed away at a young age. Mom ended up remarrying and didn't work out the best for me. So I ended up living on my own. It's around 16 years old. I rented houses. Guys from Jersey, so probably know what those house parties were crazy back then.
Yep.
I rented houses and threw underage house parties in the hundreds, sometimes up to thousands.
So did we.
Shit. You pay my rent.
Not to the thousands, but I do admire that.
Yeah, I had people falling through the roof ceilings. It was wild.
No.
That's how I got into the club business. That's. I had DJs come in, friends, and they would DJ, and that's how I got into house music from underage parties, not by kind of just the way it happened.
Wow. Now, is this a passion thing that gets you involved, or is it more just a survival thing? Just to kind of, you said you moved out at 16, kind of on your own, just to get yourself going.
Yeah, that was just to survive and have a roof over my head and live. But my dad brought me and my sister to concerts all the time when I was younger. At the Meadowlands, from Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, pretty much every genre out there. So I always loved music, and I think that was because of my dad's influence as a kid. So I loved music, every kind of music. So music was always a passion of mine. You didn't want to hear me sing, but music was always a passion of mine.
Isn't that funny? Like, I can't sing at all, but music's been a big part of my life as well. It's usually the case, right? You ever imagine this turning into a real business as you're throwing these house parties and people are falling into the roofs, let alone an empire in New Jersey?
Nah, definitely not when it first started. But I used to go out and party a lot. And I used to go into these legendary clubs in New York, like Tunnel, Carbon, Limelight, the Roxy. And then I'm doing these house parties, in the hundreds and hundreds of people. And then I start bringing hundreds of people with me they're following me to these clubs. And then somebody was like, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you $1 a head to bring these people here." So I was like, "All right, cool." After I make, got my first $50 or $100 off the people come in, they probably rip me off, but that's cool.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I'm young, I don't know anything. Then I was like, wow, I really love this. I love this scene. I love the house scene. I love this. I love people. And then I was like, I can create a business out of this.
That's wild.
That's how it started.
That's wild.
That is you. So you kind of did what I always wanted to do, right? Because we appear to be around the same age, right? And like when I was in junior high school, you'd walk out of school on like a Wednesday, Thursday, and there'd be flyers just littered all over the street, right in front of the school for, whatever club, right? And like growing up then, and I was at the, like I said, we were talking before we came on. I kind of missed the Sound Factory tunnel. I was a little too young for that. I would go to like Exit when they would do like no ID nights and things like that. But I was more Spirit, right? When Spirit was around, Roxy, I went to a lot of those same clubs. Like all I wanted to do was be a promoter and eventually want to be a DJ. So you eventually ended up doing what I always wanted to do. So kudos to you, my friend. That is cool.
Nice. And you were at my party, Spirit. There you go.
I definitely was. I saw
Spirit
James Holden at
Let's
Spirit back
go.
in the day. Yeah. Absolutely, man. That's so we were definitely in the same place at the same time, just had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, and you were getting those flyers on your cars at the college campuses. That was me and my team, and definitely my team's hard work, grinding every day because it takes a lot of work. People think the club industry is you just chilling. Nah,
Yeah.
you're hustling, and that's how I became successful. Me and my team grinding, handing those flyers out on those college campuses. The one that was off your car probably like 50 times, then hitting your parking. If you went to the gym, hitting your gym up, and then when you're outside that nightclub, hitting you up, and hopefully you weren't smacking me in the face with it that night. That's how I built the business. Grassroots.
We would always use them too. I mean, obviously, right? It was a good flyer, right? I mean, there would be whoever's list was on the flyer, right? So you'd get in at a little bit of a discount, and then you would just keep it as a breakup card, so you could break up your weed when you wanted to smoke a blunt. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
In live music, power isn't about talent, it's about access. Tommy, from the outside, nightlife looks pretty chaotic. DJs, venues, promoters kind of all competing. But once you're inside it, you kind of realize it's a little something different. At what point do you realize that this industry wasn't as open as it looks, kind of as an outsider, as that kid that's getting paid $50 to just bring in your friends to go to the club?
I started off throwing parties, bringing, friends in there, getting $1 a head, whatever it was. But then I started throwing my own successful parties. Through my first one on a Wednesday night, me and my team worked for 6 months before. We put in 1,500 people on a Wednesday. After
Damn.
that, my name grew. Then all of a sudden, people's like, "Wow, who's this kid out of nowhere that's rocked a Wednesday night?" Because at that time, nobody was partying on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
So then I started moving on, and I had club owners calling me. I started off with just me and one person working with me. Then I built a team, and we started packing out all the major clubs through New York, New Jersey. But when I first started off, going back to your question, I learned it right off the bat because the first club I did was owned by a mafia boss, and it was a little challenge right there. Learned that real quick when
I imagine.
when he tells
Can you-
me you got to give me 50 after I'm making like $6,000 a night. I was making $2 before that. Now he tells me you're giving me half the money, and I was like, no. He pulls a gun out on me. I'm like, dude, you shoot me, you lose all your bar money. You're probably like $100,000 a week right now, so you can either pull the trigger or not. You know what? He wanted to make money. And we'll get it, Live Nation, they didn't let me continue doing business. So the mafia, we're from New Jersey, we know. But they, it's the mafia. They still let you do business, They
Right.
Right.
Well, because at the end of the day,
Imagine
they
there's
want to make money, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I imagine there's like a level of respect too when you kind of stand up to him and like you reason with him in a way that like makes sense. Like, oh shit, this kid's kind of right. He's not gonna be afraid of this because he knows that my meal ticket kind of disappears here.
Yeah, that bullet's not going to do so good. It's going to cost me money.
Right.
At what point does Juice Entertainment kind of become a reality for you?
Yeah, so like I was known as Tommy D Primetime. And going through the club history there, over 15 years, um, starting from that first party, I was running then every major club in New Jersey, from DJs in Belmar, Surf Club. I opened my
Wow.
own. I opened my own nightclub over time in Clifton, New Jersey, Bliss. I won the #1 sound system in the world. Over time, you know, every major celebrity that came through New Jersey came through me. From Paris Hilton, did the Kardashians just starting off. Taylor Swift. I actually turned it down. People were like, "Whoa, why would you say that?" Because at the time she was in the country music scene, and it wasn't in the house scene when she like in the pop scene when it just moved over into it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
every major celebrity, every major DJ, every major party, me and my team, with failures, but then over a lot of hard work, we're running at the highest level through New York, New Jersey. I was a director at Sound Factory back in the day. That was a banging 24-hour party. Missed that one, but it was fire.
That's the be all
Exit,
end
I
all.
did run some of the parties there, so you might have been in my teen events over there. Down all the way down to Miami, and then I got all the way to the top, featured in almost every major club publication, like Club Worlds, Live Designs. These are like Oscar stuff when you're like from the club world, you know?
Yeah.
And I got to the top, and I couldn't grow anymore. I had plateaued without moving. I achieved my dreams, creating a club empire. That was my goal. I
Yeah.
want to create a club empire. Family told me there's no way you're gonna do it. Friends said no way you're gonna do it. I did it. Then I wanted
It's the
to.
best fuel for somebody to really fire up and like achieve like the next echelon of success is when people, especially people close to you, tell you you're out of your mind. There's no way you're going to do that. It's just, I don't know what that is about that, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then when you get successful, then they're all gonna say, "Oh yeah, of course we supported you at that time. We didn't tell you to go to college. I didn't go to college. We didn't tell you to go to college. We told you to go run that club empire."
Yeah. And it's that's work, dude, because look, I mean, I've alluded to I know the clubs you're talking about, right? Like they're literally all night into the morning into after hours. So you're going nonstop. I mean, that's kind of why why I mean, granted, like we all kind of get older and we grow up and we have kids and we have families, and now if I go out 2 times a year, that's a lot, right? But one of the big reasons that I stopped when I was younger was that I didn't really like to do drugs. It wasn't really my thing, you know? So like all my friends were all geeked out and they're going through after hours and I would just drink or, smoke a little and I'd be done by like 6 a.m. and they're just, plowing through. But point being, it's a lot of work, man. The hours are long.
24/7, and when you get to the top, it's more hours. It's
Yeah.
24/7, 7 days a week. Sometimes I'm running 5 parties a night, 5,000 people to 10,000 people at the Sandbar in Jersey City, you name
man.
it. So it's one night you're on vacation, you're in the water in Aruba hanging out. You're keeping your phone still in your pocket, and you're answering that phone. So it's nonstop. That's the one thing a lot of people don't think. They just think like, "Hey, club, yay, have
Yeah.
fun, drink champagne, get all the girls, chill with the Paris Hilton, chill with the Kardashians." Nah, you gotta bust your ass and you work. It's a lot of hustle, a lot of work, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I respect that you understand.
Do you feel like doors start closing on you as juice starts to get bigger and bigger?
Nah, so all the doors were opening and opening for me. Everything was opening for me.
The reason I ask that is because sometimes success doesn't necessarily attract competition. It starts to attract retaliation. And I want to start to pivot a little bit to some of the Live Nation things. You're not just a small promoter anymore at this point. You're running major clubs, major events, kind of shaping this EDM culture. Not even just in the Northeast. So you would mention Miami too. So I guess the whole East Coast at this point. Then comes the Meadowlands Project, something that could probably push you fully into mainstream if you're not there already. When the Meadowlands Festival started coming together, does this start to feel like a turning point for you career wise?
Yeah, so the Meadowlands Festival for me was I hit the top. I couldn't get any bigger. As you said, I was
Wow.
running the whole East Coast. And for me to get bigger, I needed to get into the festival business. But
Hmm.
also before that, um, going back in time, because you came from the house music scene, house music was underground. So I was one of the pioneers of this we were underground. This wasn't mainstream. So I saw that house music was going to turn and become EDM because it was house music before it was mainstream cool. And I saw this was going to break into mainstream around 2010, 2011. So I made a deal with the State Fair Meadowlands. So you guys are familiar, if anybody's not, it's the home of the brand new $2 billion stadium from the Jets and the Giants. State Fair is the largest state fair in the East Coast, over, hundreds of rides, 500,000 attendees, over several weeks. They built a concert space for me, and I did a 10-year exclusive deal to produce all concerts, all festivals, all events,
Wow.
at the Meadowlands. Largest deal I'd ever made, and turnkey operation. I had everything in place for me, much easier than any clubs or anything else that I've ever run in my life.
Yeah.
Everything was going great, and I predicted that EDM was going to boom, and I was right. It became when rock, like how rock and roll blew up back in the day. Everything was going great. I started work. We had all our talent getting in place. Everybody was coming aboard, all the agencies, all the artists. We had our staging. I brought partners in with me. The owner of the State Fair Meadowlands, Al Dorso, awesome guy, full support behind us. This is happening. And then Nation Entertainment, who I didn't even know who they were at the time because they weren't involved with house music at the time. People always ask me that. I was like, no, I didn't know who they were. They found out about it, and I had worried about other people coming in trying to get your business. I was careful. So there was like the Electric Daisy Carnival out in the West Coast at the time. They're still huge now. Live Nation owns them, so screw them. But no, I'm not against Donnie and Pascal. I'm not against them. He's still cool. I can't blame him. But I'd watched that these ones wouldn't be able to come in and get into my business. Any competitors with it, I was always on the point with that. I just would have never predicted Live Nation. So Live Nation had found out about it, and they came in and in a click of a button, wiped it all out.
How close were you to actually pulling off the concert? Like where does Live Nation sort of intersect and like pull the plug?
We have everything. We have millions of dollars in offers out to the DJs and the artists, which now seems like nothing.
Yeah, but at the
back
time,
in that time, that's a lot of money. We had Tiesto, my business partner. If you wanted Tiesto, you called him. It was like back in the day with like Mike Tyson. You called Don King. You called my partner John DiMatteo. That's how it was. These were our people. These were our roots. Not Live
That's insane.
Nations. They weren't even into house music. They didn't do this stuff. They didn't know what they're doing. So we had all the talent confirming. We had the stagings all set up to be in place. We had everything. We had beyond our marketing plans, a massive amount of sponsorship. There was a thing called Fashion TV, which at the time was overseas in Europe. I knew because I went out to a party in Amsterdam doing one, and I was like, damn, why is this on the TV? What's this Fashion TV? It was like bigger than CNN News, like for ratings back in that time. It was crazy. They were coming aboarding. We broadcasting this thing live worldwide. So we were beyond covered on just that. I had many other events I was putting on, but it was all happening. And we were getting to the point of announcing and releasing our the event, the artist publicly. And then Live Nation came in and wanted it. I was told by the owner of the State Fair, Live Nation came in. They told him that this is their space. They own the Meadowlands, and they needed the EDM. That this was the next hot thing, and they had to be part of it. And that I had to be kicked out. And the owner of the State Fair Meadowlands, Al Dorso, I give him props. He didn't kick me out. But he asked me to take a meeting with Live Nation Entertainment, which I did so. I did not know these people. Again, they first called me and told me they were going to withhold all my talent from all the talent agencies, block my tickets from Ticketmaster, and I wouldn't get any tickets. Bad mouthing me to the sports authority, trashing me, saying we're thieves, robbers, no clue what we're doing.
Wow.
You name it. I had no clue. I was like, why do these people do rock and roll? Why the hell they bother my shit? So I take the meeting, and I'm hoping I can give these guys like a little kiddie show. Be like, here, go take a
Right.
little kiddie show. Go chill with this. I walk in the door. The Meadowlands is ours. This is our contract. This is our stadium. The talent agencies, the William Morris agency was one of the largest house music agencies at the time, and Tiesto. We are going to block all your talent worldwide because we will not let them perform at any of our stadiums, any of our arenas, any of our events if they perform at your show. So you're getting no talent. We've already spoken with them. There's no talent for you. You will have none. I tried to defend us. They just attacked aggressively, made the mob look real nice. They're just gangsters in suits, want to be mob. Nothing different, just thugs. I defended us, and then they told me, they gave me an ultimatum. They said, kick your partners out. His name was John DiMatteo, and Vito Bruno was a legendary one from back like in the Studio 54 days. He did all the KTU beat stocks down at the PNC Art Center. They're time for 14 years, Vito Bruno. I only had a handshake deal with them. So I could have kicked them out. But I learned as a kid, like my dad always said, honor your word. So I never break my word. So they said, pick your partners out. We'll actually pay you and pay for the whole entire festival and give you 50% of it. I told them, I'm not kicking my partners out. Fuck you. And then they told me they're wiping the festival out, and they did with the quick.
Do you think I mean, obviously they wanted control, they wanted power, they wanted to run it, they wanted to make all the money, right? But they were willing to offer you a deal, right, to come on board and kind of work for them and whatever that might look like. Do you think their issue was more with your partners, or?
No, the reason they wanted at least 50% of it, but the reason they were trying to keep me on board, one, they had no fucking clue how to throw a house party or event at the time because they haven't done it. You're talking to these guys and they know, I'm talking to them. They're screaming, yelling all this shit at me. I'm like, you have no clue what you're talking about. You know nothing about the house music scene. But the part was I had the contract. It was signed in my name. My partners weren't on the contract. That's why they wanted them out. The owner of the State Fair was backing me up. And at the time, Live Nation's CEO, it's the same CEO today, that was getting ripped a little bit by Kid Rock at a Senate hearing today, Michael Rapino. He was saying publicly that the EDM Live Nation messed up. He was scared. He's scared. They're behind the 8 ball. They didn't get into EDM. They need to acquire or hire all the promoters, like myself. Or his biggest fear was that a lesser known organization like me was going to lock up a festival space like I did. So I was their worst nightmare because I would have been the first major EDM concert in the East Coast on this scale of a level, in a scene where they said that to my business partners and to me, if there's 10,000 people, they had to be involved. Live Nation had to be involved.
Gotcha.
And it's interesting too, because you're in kind of the hotbed of where that nightlife would really take off. So I can see where that fear would come from a business perspective. If you're Live Nation, like this isn't, the middle of like East Bumble, Oklahoma, where you just happen to have like a festival.
The fucking Meadowlands.
right. Like
brand new $2 billion stadium. Come on.
It's insanity. I feel like if that happens, it spreads like wildfire, and you're now a fixture at the Meadowlands every single year in perpetuity. Without question, it sells out because, to this day, that music still resonates. Not to give a negative connotation here because I despise the TV show, but like, look what the Jersey Shore did for the New Jersey Shore, right? Like everyone associates that with this area.
Yeah, so I hate the Jersey Shore show too, but you go back to 2000, the first season of it, anybody go watch the tapes. The thing was dead.
Yeah, well, that 100%.
It was dead. Everybody from Jersey, we thought it was corny. So you know what? Yeah. I did MTV events for over 10 years. I did them in Cancun, Steve-O, Jackass. Yeah. You remember those guys?
Of course.
All the time I did work with MTV. MTV asked me to come in, pack Carm out, pay me, and the club paid me. So I made a ton of money. I just didn't let them use my face on TV because to me it was corny. They made
Yeah,
billions
yep.
off this. I guess maybe a bad decision, but I ended up the reason you
Yeah.
saw that place packed was because me and my team, and that
That's
was
amazing.
right before I had launched up the Meadowlands.
That's absolutely wild. I question too, you know, people listening out there probably think, you know, why would you be loyal? You're getting offered 50% of this giant thing. And there's always, you
No,
know,
I gotta cut you off right there.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm being offered. This is my contract. This is my deal. They have no right to be involved in it.
That's where I was going with this too. You see it all the time on like Shark Tank. Mark Cuban's famous for saying, you know, what's 10% of a watermelon or 10% of or 100% of a grape, right? And when you look at it from this perspective, as soon as you sign your name on the dotted lines, you already got cutthroat business people that want you to dump your partners off and they're trying to stomp you out anyway. So you sign your name on that line, you run this contract for or this concert for them. Then what happens next, right? As soon as that executes well, you're not getting paid before, you're getting paid after. And I have a feeling that that paycheck becomes the mafia boss where he's just going to say, guess what? Remember that 50%? Well, there's this expense and this expense. And all of a sudden that 50% becomes 5%. And you're not there for the next show and you just signed over the rights for it. So I think there's a lot more honor in that loyalty because you didn't burn your friends on the way up. What happened, right? I suspect that probably would have happened either way, whether
Well,
you signed with them or
my
not. They were
partners
going to try to screw
had
you.
done a few events with Live Nation. That was the only
They
time
had.
That's the only time Live Nation actually did a house music event.
Wow,
Was
interesting.
with my partner,
Yeah.
the first couple of house events, and my partners were like, "Yo, I don't understand. We packed out Roseland with 5,000 people for the Swedish House Mafia, but I lost money."
Yeah.
And part of what Kid Rock was talking about the setting hearing today, and evidence that I have on how Live Nation runs an illegal rebate scheme. Yeah, that I don't think I would have made any money because they would have what I allege is criminal, just cut it on the
Take it
side.
all back. Yeah.
Right.
Most people walk away, especially when you're in a fight this big. Few people decide to go up and fight the system itself. At this point, Live Nation buys Ticketmaster. They're rapidly growing. I mean, there's a complete conglomerate. Today in 2026, I mean, there's nowhere else you can get tickets. It is what it is. They absolutely hose you on it all the time. A lot of people in your position probably would have just disappeared and went on with their life, but you didn't. Instead, you sued one of the biggest entertainment corporations on the planet and have stayed in that fight for over a decade and a half. What makes you decide not to just pack your bags, walk away, even when this thing turns into now a 15 plus year battle?
Well, I allege, and I'll prove it in my trial, they destroyed my reputation. I was on the New Jersey Star Ledger, TMNJ.com. I was put as a #1 promoter. My name got removed by Live Nation after they wiped me out of my festival. They badmouthed me throughout the whole industry. I lost
Yeah.
my whole entire career, and I lost everything. So we
Wow.
started off passing flyer out, house parties. I built it to the top. They wiped it out. I went homeless. I could have stayed at a friend's
Jesus.
house, but I was too embarrassed to even reach out
Yeah,
to
yeah.
people. I just was a few months before with Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg, and running the world. Down worse than I was when I was starting off throwing those house parties when I was 16 years old. So I wanted why I first initially sued. I had a job going door to door selling cable to do so for door to door sales. But I sued because I wanted my festival back. I wanted my career back. And I thought I have tape recordings of Live Nation executives confessing to everything I'm saying to you and a lot more. Full tapes, just like the John Gotti tape spinning, boom, boom, boom. I put these things up on there. I have them. So I thought, and I didn't tape them in the beginning. If I taped the first conversation, shit. Live Nation Ticketmaster
Case closed.
merged at this time. I didn't even know they merged. They said they're blocking my tickets from Ticketmaster. I was like, how the fuck you blocking my tickets from Ticketmaster? I
Yeah,
do business
yeah.
with them. They bought them. I had no clue. I had to Google it and find out.
I don't even know how that happened either because Ticketmaster was so much bigger than Live Nation. I don't know where
Live
the equity
Nation,
had come
Live
from.
Nation merged with them right at
Yeah.
the time of when I put my festival on. And
Yeah.
I'm the first victim. And there's a hearing in the Senate today with Kid Rock, but about this. But I was the first victim. There's many more fans every day of the Live Nation Ticketmaster merger. because it controlled the ticketing. They told me you won't get ticketing for the event. Well, if you can't get tickets, no tickets, no
Right.
show. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, you're ruined. You're ruined.
Right.
So yeah, so circling back to what you said, I wanted my career back. I wanted everything back. And I thought their CEO and I thought their company with these tape recordings, and then information I obtained at Discovery, I thought they would be like, "Oh my God, we're sorry, and here you go. Let's put you back where you were." Didn't work out that way. Then going over time, so at first it was economic, then going over time and just seeing the information behind the scenes that I have of how they run the business, how they rip fans off, how they destroy all the independent promoters, how they screw the artists and blame the artists for everything, but screw them too. And just seeing this and seeing it and seeing it, it's just embedded in me. And then over time, I was like, you know what? This is way bigger than me. You know what? This is way bigger than me. This is about a scene that I love that got taken away for like independent promoters. Like you were thinking about doing it, didn't want to get on the drug world. I got you. But there's a lot of them
Not
out
to say everybody is, but you know.
yeah. I drank a lot of Red Bulls, you know what I mean? Alcohol and partied, but but there's a lot of kids that want to go do it. You know, I'm like, I got a kid now. He's 11 years old. I want to do Dad. He's looks at my wall, sees all these celebrities, sees Charlie Sheen up on there. I want to throw these parties. I'm like, you can't do this with Live Nation.
Yeah.
People pay $1,000 a ticket for a show. Come on. What do you think the club scene's dead? You can't afford to go to clubs after that. It's it's just a fucking racket,
Extortion.
It's a racket, that's what it is. And, look, we got 5 families in New Jersey, in New York of the mob. At least they can compete with each other. There's just one mafia, Live Nation, with their godfather, Michael Rapino. And everybody has to kiss that ring, kiss that finger, bow down to have a show, independent promoter, take what you can get. And it's just, they ruined the whole scene and they rip everybody off every day. Just like the Senate hearing where I was so glad Kid Rock, one artist that's actually finally speaking out for the fans, was out there today speaking out. So good stuff, Kid Rock. You got me fired up today.
Well, you keep mentioning the Senate hearing. So for those that are watching this, by the time this published, it's going to probably be a week old. We're recording this on January 28th. So when we reference the Senate hearing today, it's January 28th, 2026. Tommy, give us some context. What's happening in the Senate hearing and why it's happening?
So the Senate hearings is going on because Live Nation is being sued by the Department of Justice, by the FTC. Their CEO is out publicly with that going on when John Gotti wouldn't even do it. When he potentially has criminal charges. I allege he's running a criminal racket, saying he wants to raise ticket prices on live TV.
Even more. Thank you.
So I think that's why the Senate hearing went on. I think it's like, wow, this is out of control. And I have information through an expert report. It's called the Dr. Richard Barnett report. And this is information I talked about that I obtained through the discovery in my case that I allege. And the expert shows that Live Nation runs an illegal, we allege criminal rebate scheme where they make deals with they throw events with co-promoters, artists, managers. They get kickbacks from the venues, inflate the cost of the event. You can just make a thing up like security, inflate all cost of goods for a higher rebate. All this money goes in Live Nation's pocket. The artist doesn't get $1. The promoter doesn't get $1. The venue's begging them, please let me survive. I can't even afford you because I'm paying so much. If they don't
watering down what everyone else is getting paid out, basically.
And if they don't pay this, the venue says, I don't want to pay this, we skip your venue. So this information I have, and I also have my expert confirmed by Dr. Richard Barnett that Live Nation has 2 sets of books. So it's worse than the mafia. They have 2 sets of books. One for their board of directors, and then one for the artists, promoters, the fans, where everybody's in the red, losing money, or they're just making a little. Let them buy. They decide how much you make. They tell you, "You're the boss. You make this much, or you lose it all." There's promoters bad, seeing so much information. Promoters begging, "Please let me. I can't pay this $50,000. Live Nation, we lost. Guess what? Live Nation on the back end, $400,000 made for the event. So they got 2 sets of books. And I've been saying this, and I've been saying it all the time. And my report's been featured, but sent by a late Congressman Bill Pascrell of New Jersey 2 years ago. He was, God bless him. He was working with me. He sent my report, my expert report, because Live Nation's attorneys accidentally put it up on a court public website. Biggest lawyer whoopsie in history ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Ian Marks and Philip Salinger, the guy actually was from the Department of Justice from New Jersey, actually. And so they sent, Pascrell sent the report to the Department of Justice, Senate Subcommittee, FTC to investigate. And this, I've been saying this for 2 years, just like the congressman was. Unfortunately, he passed away. And Kid Rock brought up in the hearing today that the Senate should investigate kickbacks in the live entertainment industry with Live Nation. And if they do so, he, in his belief was, many of them are going to be going to jail because there's massive fraud. And this is what I've been saying, and people look at me like sometimes I'm crazy. I'm suing a $36 billion company. They can sue me whenever they want. I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't have the receipts. I have their cooked books. So it's nice now that Kid Rock's actually calling for the Senate to subpoena these records. So I'm telling the Senate, hey, come get it right now. Let's go. Kid Rock, you want the record? Come on over with the senator and pick it up. It's up to you that you want to subpoena it. I got the cookbooks, and I got what shows why ticket prices are so goddamn expensive. These records get released. That's why I've fought to go to jury trial, just so you know. And my plan is to expose them at a jury trial, beat Live Nation, and ticket prices can drop 20 to 30% overnight from the information that I have on how I allege they run an illegal, just call it a fucking racket, because that's what it is. Run by dumb people.
It 100% is.
But it works.
I say this all the time because I have Giants season tickets, right? And so we pay whatever we pay for the season tickets, but then you pay like the fees and stuff like that. And then if you want to list it on Ticketmaster, the person on the other side of it has to pay 20% markup or 10, whatever it is, 10% markup. But then you're also paying a 20% markup. And so if I take the exact ticket that I bought, call it $100, right? The person on the other side is going to immediately, if I just want to break even, I have to sell that ticket for $120, which means the person on the other side is buying it for $150, which of course they're not going to want to do. So that's when they start going to the secondary markets or off. And it's like, if you just try to, and then Ticketmaster takes the leftover tickets and then sets the face value of them, which undercuts your ticket at face value that you paid as a season ticket holder, which is actually less. So if I just wanted to sell my ticket that I had, that I already paid Ticketmaster for, because that's who all the football teams use, I'm immediately losing money. And they'll send me a 1099 at the end of the year, so I can get taxed on income for something that I'm trying to break even on, and I'm actually losing money on. It blows my mind that everybody knows that they're getting scammed, but there's nothing you could do about it.
Right. Because they're the only one.
There's no bigger monopoly than Live
Exactly.
Nation. Look,
What were you gonna say, Tim?
at least with like grocery stores, you can go to a different grocery store.
Right.
That's
If
it.
there's something, you are stuck. They own
Yes.
Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
They own the artists. They do. Could they find me a stadium tour worldwide that Live Nation and Ticketmaster are involved in? There isn't so.
Exactly.
Someone will find something where someone had to pay a farm over there, or this, that. There's no way around them. So there's no way for an independent promoter. There's no way for an artist, and there's no way for as a fan. What it, you know, like if you're in like New Jersey and like the mob's bothering you, you want to still like go, you want to go to whatever business, or open a bodega out in Idaho, you can go out there and milk a cow, open your bodega, and you're good, or whatever you want to call it. But where are you gonna go? You go to Alaska, you have Live Nation there. You go to India, Live Nation's there. They're buying every single country. This is a worldwide problem, not even just the United States problem. It's just the biggest monopoly of one industry. They control everything beyond the powers what anybody can even see.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, is the fact that there's no competition, because, and for anybody out there that's listening, watching, to Tommy's point, if you've ever gone to any kind of a live music event, And I'm talking an event. I'm not talking about going to see somebody play at a bar. I'm talking about a live music event, a concert, a festival. Live Nation runs it. They run everything. So there's no competition. And then the fact that they own Ticketmaster, right? And while that's not technically illegal, there's no cost for the ticketing process because they own it, right? So it's quite literally a monopoly, right? So, but Tommy, it sounds like you've got some really interesting stuff, right, on Live Nation and what they're doing over there, which may be fraudulent and or illegal, just for the simple fact that it's a monopoly. This Senate should be looking into it, right? Because we don't allow monopolies, right? What's the most famous monopoly you could think of, right? Probably the Windows monopoly back in the day, right? When Bill Gates was
Windows
sued.
got broken up. Google most recently got broken up.
Google, right?
Remember Enron?
So why is
Enron.
And right. So why is Live Nation allowed to do it?
Down and fell.
Yeah.
That's what you got going on. Live Nation is the Enron of the entertainment industry.
Wow.
Exactly.
And Ticketmaster and Live Nation, it's part of the FTC hearing today. It's supposed to be separated. Live Nation here, Ticketmaster here. I've seen the information. They work hand in hand together. They know what's going on, which competitor. If you're a competitor, they're taking your data. They're in this rebate scheme that I allege they do, and they do, and I'll prove it at trial. They couldn't do it without Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster is like the enforcer. Ticketmaster takes all the money, gets based off the Ticketmaster tickets. So it's just a whole scam. Really simple. It's just a massive scam mixed together in a stupid way. But they get away with it up to this time. So let's go Kid Rock.
They've been really manipulating their scams too. We tried to buy tickets for SummerSlam last year at MetLife Stadium. We bought tickets, I should say. And I had bought my initial set of tickets, and we had a large group going. So they're buying in separate. We got them all in the same section. And what happens is after the tickets were going on sale for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, all of a sudden the prices changed and they called it like premium or platinum or whatever it is, like demand pricing or whatever it was. And they took the exact same tickets.
Dynamic,
now they're controlling it and they're cranking the prices up. Now, if you waited another month or two, which some of our friends did, the tickets plummeted down because the demand pricing disappeared all of a sudden. But it's fascinating to me how they can not only do that, but get away with it. Why aren't artists, I mean, you've been in this industry for a long time. Why aren't artists saying anything? Why aren't they going? I mean, we already know that labels have abused artists for years. We talked about this in episodes with P. Diddy and stuff. There's a lot of control mechanisms that go on, but there are independent labels that have come up. Is it just such a monopoly that nobody wants to kind of stir the pot? So Kid Rock is one, but there are other artists that are kind of impenetrable at this point to getting slandered because they've done their thing. What's happening there? Why is everyone still so quiet?
Well, Kid Rock had just started speaking out recently in the last 6 months.
Just the only one.
So.
Yeah.
And why are they silent? It's really simple. It's one company.
Yeah.
If you're an artist and you want to make money or you just want to put on a show, you can't do it with them. Look what happened to was it Pearl Jam back in the 90s? They went up against Ticketmaster. Kid Rock is recently calling them out now to like stand up with him and speak out. And they got shut out at all. That was not even Live Nation and Ticketmaster together. That was just Ticketmaster. And they got shut out of the whole entire industry.
Wow.
So I never asked the artist to speak up, because I'm never going to ask somebody not to have a career. If you're an artist, a music artist, you probably came from nothing, busted your ass, and your dream is to put on shows. They make all their money from concerts. And if you want to do that for a living and you're going to come out and say, like the guy from the Cure came out. I forgot his name right now. He came out and I was talking to a reporter the other day. He came out and he was blasting them. And guess what? Not one artist came up and stuck up for him and said anything else. When Kid Rock is out there today speaking, look, I speak all the time. I look at it as just me against the world on this one, and I don't blame anybody else for speaking. But now when Kid Rock's out there speaking, I'm like, awesome. But he's telling other artists to speak up. But it's because, it's their money, it's their career, it's their passion. So I don't blame the artists. That's on Live Nation. If they control them, they're like in captivity. Okay.
Yeah.
Captivity. So if what are you gonna do? And I don't ask people like promoters. They're like, oh, why don't the promoters that are still left speak? It's like, they're going to be wiped out with me and like me. And I don't ask anybody to go through the struggles like I did fighting them for 15 years in court. You know, no regrets, but I don't ask anybody else to do that. So what's your look at me? I'm the first victim of that Live Nation Ticketmaster, fans every day. But if you put me as a poster child on a little milk carton, do you want to say if you're an artist or if you're an artist or an independent promoter, you want to say, hey, you want to be like Tommy for 15 years, go door to door, lose everything, and keep fighting them in court, which, you know, is not fun? I don't think so. You know, I wouldn't want him.
No, that makes sense. And I'd imagine that most, if not all, artists in this digital age, they make all their money at concerts and shows, right? Because I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I know the way the music industry works. I don't know if they get paid on downloads of songs.
You're right on the money, and I've seen so much information too, where the artists push back to Live Nation about the money, and you're told just shut the hell up. Or you're not getting another show. And you know what they do? They shut the hell up. The agents too. Yo, this don't look right. Too bad. This is where you take the venues. Yo, this isn't right. These numbers are off. No, you're paying. This is how it is. And or we skip your show, your venue completely. So it's just pure power.
Right, exactly. It's power because they're huge. They're the biggest in the world. They're really the only one. And when I say the only one, I might be a little hyperbolic. Yeah, probably. I'm sure there's, you know, some smaller company out there doing small venues, but we're talking about big shows, right? Shows that everybody would want to go see. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Look, I don't blame you, man. Not you. I don't blame the artists. I don't blame the venues. You know, it sucks. That is not a good situation to be in, man.
Yep, that's why people say, like, hey, the artists don't come and speak out for you. The promoters don't come and speak out for you. Like, it's fucked up. I'm like, no, they talk to me on the back end. And they're like, Tommy, we love what you're doing. We love what you're doing. Keep it up, man. It's awesome what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. You don't have to say, I know you can't speak out. It's all good.
Right.
I wish there was just another way for them to kind of champion that support a little bit, right? Like now Kid Rock speaking out, is there somebody that can put you in direct contact with him so that you can share everything that you have to maybe strengthen the case? Because now it sounds like if he wants to champion this fight, well, he's got the resources, he's got the connections right into the White House, obviously his best friend sitting as the sitting president.
He's got his own White House.
I just wonder if like if you don't want to put your name out there, I totally respect that. But help a guy out, right? Do something in the back end, whether it's finance it, whether it's connect to the right people, whether it's kind of shove more information in your pocket. There's something that can happen, or maybe this is already happening. You're smiling, so you got something brewing there.
Some people support me on the back end, like I said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I appreciate that, respect that, but this is pretty much me rolling it solo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got one attorney. Me and versus 2,000 attorneys, and that's the battle. You know, that's the battle. That's the fight. Live Nation's winning it because they're able to delay it for 15 years for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Crazy.
You know, if I did this vice versa to the Live Nation, the Meadowlands, because you guys can relate from New Jersey. If I went back 15 years and the Meadowlands was, you know, their stadium, and I went and blocked all their stuff. Wipe them out. You think that stadium would be rusted, nobody in it for 15 years? Pretty sure not. I don't blame the courts, but Live Nation has so much power, so much politics, so much lobbying money, so much power to just even delay. They'll delay for God knows what, one of their 15th mediation because they just feel like it.
That's the tactic, yeah.
You know, and that's when I started speaking out because you didn't hear anything about me until last year. And I started speaking out because my witnesses are getting old. You talked about people partying, doing tons of drugs. There you go. I come from the club world. Now, listen, I didn't get into that, but, you know, I'm not so bad, for my age, but I didn't get into that. But a lot of people do. And my witnesses, a lot of them were older. Yeah. And that's 15 years ago. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, the only way Live Nation will beat me at a jury trial is if my witnesses, don't make it of old age. So I'm like, I need to bring this to public attention and get a trial. I need a jury trial. And I need to expose this information so I can help the scene and get lower ticket prices for, fans and let the scene thrive again. So if you want to get back in a promotion scene, you can fucking do it.
Well, even if
It
you just
blows my
unlock the
mind.
competition, that opens competitive pricing, right? Because now it's just not one
Competition,
person.
just think about it in any
Yeah.
industry. Now you have 15 different promoters out there. Think even back in the day, from Spirit to Exit, all different theme parties. It's creativity.
Yeah.
And now these artists can pick and choose. Hey, I can go play this for this promoter. They have better production. It's cheaper. This one might be a little bit more expensive. This is there. And it's just general economics of an ecosystem of competition. You have one mafia, not even 5 families, one that just controls the whole entire New York and New Jersey, which now you have one that controls the whole entire world, Live Nation.
Mhm.
It's not good. And
Yeah.
it don't take a nuclear rocket scientist just to figure it out, especially if you're from New Jersey or New York.
Yeah. It always blows my mind, and it's not, you hear this often when it comes to legal battles, right? And one of the difficult things when you, the small guy the David going against the Goliath, the big guy, the Live Nation, the fear is, for you, well, they're just going to drag this on forever, which is what they are doing, right? And from Live Nation's perspective, Goliath, they couldn't give a shit less because they'd look at it and go, yeah, we're just going to drag this on until you don't have the money to fight this anymore, right? That in and of itself blows my mind that anybody could get away with doing that, because we're talking about a legal battle, something that is pertaining to the court of law, which should be the utmost just moral, event that you could possibly imagine. How do these companies get away with dragging these legal battles on for so long? That I'm using the term legal a lot. That should be illegal. That doesn't make any sense. That irritates the shit out of me. I've never gone through it, and hope I never do, but it irritates the shit out of me.
It should be illegal. And one thing, you're right. The company just drags it intentionally. And guess what happens? Most people do what? Throw in a towel, lose by a technicality because they can't pay enough lawyers millions of dollars to beat 2,000 lawyers to even make it to a trial, settle, take the payout. I'll be the first trial, put it this way. Since Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged in 2010, I'm going to be the first jury trial for them for anti-competitive behavior, being a monopoly.
That's insanity.
So that's not even just in the United States, that's in the world.
Wow.
So if you just said a broken system of what these monopolies can do, how can I be the first jury trial and I waited 15 years? I'm the first victim. You know how many other promoters they wiped out? Artists,
I'm sure.
bands, you name it, across the board. And I'm going to be the first trial just because I haven't quit. And I didn't throw in that towel. I didn't take their money. And I'm continuing it for, a greater good now. But you're
Good for
absolutely
you.
right. And you know what? There should be changes because people are like, look at me for something. They look at me sometimes like there's something wrong with me. They're like, how is it 15 years? You have a right to a speedy trial in the United States. I'm like, yeah, I thought so too. I thought that's what the Constitution said. But under federal law, civil trials, I recently just figured this out when I was looking like, shit, how long could this take? There's no statute of limitation. So maybe some changes that if the Senate or Congress
Crazy.
want to pass is put a statute of limitations on jury trials for civil litigants, not like myself, because I don't even care. I've been 15 years already. But for anybody else that wants to sue a different monopoly, let's say somebody wants to sue Amazon or Google, a little guy, you know what I mean? Because if anybody watching this, would you want to sue a monopoly? Look at what I had to go through and go 15 years. They're like, and I want people to, it's tough, but you're absolutely right. There needs to be changes, I believe, in the monopoly laws of these massive major companies when they are sued, that there should be your right for when you're criminally charged, you have right to a speedy trial. Civilly, it should be something like a ratio. If someone has so many billions of dollars, that if they don't do a trial date in a certain time, they take like a default money and we'll have to pay somebody else's legal bills like mine to be able to continue doing it. I believe that, if you ask for that, and I agree with you. So you know what? I'll ask the United States, the Congress and the Senate to pass legislation on speedy trials against monopolies. whatever you want to call the bill. But I think it should happen, and not for me, but for other people, like you said, and other people
You're
in
right.
other industries against monopolies, because it's a rigged thing.
You know what I'd love
literally
to see?
cannot fight them.
Oh,
That's
my
the
bad.
strategy.
Go.
It's,
You do
it's
you.
no, good. That is 100% the strategy that they use, is just drag it out and just strangle you until you just can't afford it anymore. I literally know somebody, the guy that created the Fram auto filter. He got in a legal battle with Honeywell and Allied Signal because they tried to steal the idea and just cut him out of it. And he went after them. He taught himself law and he won the legal battle. It took a really long time to get there, but he did do it. So it's not impossible. And, it's funny because I've had a lot of what you just said is like, I've had that conversation with him, talking for hours on the phone.
Nice.
And he's like, it's hell. I would never wish that on anyone. He hates the U.S. patent system because he feels like that's rigged to get stolen from other people too, for that exact reason. But it's fascinating because it is designed so companies with massive amounts of money can just drag you through hell. Nothing gets done. It gets buried under the rug, and business continues as usual. Tim, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, you know what I would love to see just once, when a case like this that's been dragged out for 15 years, when it finally goes to trial, I'd love for the judge to go, oh, you delay this for 15 years? Yeah, you lose. Because I know exactly what you did.
GRTFO.
I would love to see that. It'll never happen, but I would love to see that.
No.
It's just so blatant and obvious, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I always say...
it's just common sense.
Well, that's exactly it, right? So, there's always, whenever you're talking about law, right, and evidence, right? Okay, and I get it, right? There should be specific evidence that says undeniably this person is guilty of doing X, Y, and Z. But I'm getting animated. I'm banging my microphone all around you. Sorry, Mauricio. You're gonna have to clean stuff up in post.
Fire it up.
There's what I call common sense evidence, right? Common sense evidence. So when this finally goes to trial, it's common sense by everybody looking at it that knows exactly what Live Nation and Ticketmaster was doing. Dragging this out in hopes of bankrupting you so that you go away, right? A 5-year-old could figure that out. So why can't we do something about this, right? Why can't we do something about this? Oh, man, that aggravates the shit out of me. You know why it aggravates me so much? Because there's nothing you could do about it. Shane and I talk all the time about injustices in our little group, and we get very frustrated, right, with people not being held accountable. And it gets very frustrating because you feel like there's no recourse, right? You feel like you have no recourse. And look, I don't need to be a damper. Tommy, keep fighting your fight. I'm behind you 100%. I'll certainly be following your case. But it's deflating. It's a deflating feeling.
Yeah, and what's kind of crazy is like, if I was able to not just sue Live Nation, but if I were able to charge them criminally off the bat, they would have to, I've been right for a speedy trial. If I took them in a criminal court, they would get convicted 1 million out of 1 million times with my evidence. I have emails, tape recordings, confessions of their executives. But the technicalities on the civil side are made for the monopolies.
I just don't even understand
and on the criminal side, again, for me to say 1 million out of 1 million, that's every juror, unless they might pay off the juror. But if they didn't pay off the juror, then they would get convicted every single time, because those technicalities don't get in the way.
So what is next? What are the next steps? Where do you land in the case right now? Where do you hope to go? Is it just a hope and a prayer that Kid Rock coming out there and trying to fight the fight now is going to be the catalyst, or are you waiting for something else to kind of come to fruition to get your day in front of the judge? Like, I'm trying to like reconcile in my brain, like, how do you nudge this forward any differently than you've been doing for the last 15 years?
Well, I was quiet for 14.
Yeah.
In the last year, I've got a lot of momentum going.
Yeah.
A lot of people now, not me saying, are saying you're starting on a revolution.
That's amazing.
I have people from, I helped end dynamic ticketing in Australia, being on Four Corners, Australia. I helped end that terrible ticketing you call dynamic ticketing over there with them.
Really?
With their country. I have people reaching out to me. I had a court hearing it was November 18th in New Jersey federal court, and it was awesome. I showed up at the court, and nobody wants to go to court, not me. And there was hundreds of protesters out there with signs: lower ticket prices, shut down Live Nation, justice for Tommy D. And I was like, shit, this is awesome. I'm definitely continuing this. Let's go. I get some support. I'm getting emails now from people reaching out to me saying, how can I help you? What can we do? So it's, I'm really looking at it now, where I'm asking people to get behind this movement, not for me, for the scene. Because people look at this and they're like, how can you, like, my mother had said, she talked about, like, you know, throwing in the towel and stuff. My mom was like, at one point, like, yo, you should just like throw in the towel and protest them, you know? And I was like, how can I protest that? You talked about SummerSlam. My son wanted to go to SummerSlam, my 7-year-old. Daddy, the bad guy at Ticketmaster was running the ad. He saw the commercial. We can't go. I was like, I can't lock you out of society. Music's a right, man, you know?
Right.
Like, can't go to, can't go to the Jets games. My kids are in Massachusetts. Can't go to a Patriots game. Can't go to Disney on Ice. Can't go to anything.
No.
So you can't protest it. But you know what you can do? And this is what I've opened a website. I haven't got it fully running yet, but shutdownlivenation.com. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm calling for people to protest. And it has a list of all your congressmen, all your senators. Live Nation might have a lot of lobby money, but you vote these people in office and you vote them the hell out. So you know what? You looked at the Senate hearing today as I'm talking about it. In the United States, you guys just think there's anything bipartisan right now? It's almost like a civil war.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's bipartisan against Live Nation and Ticketmaster, because everybody, even just people, not politicians, this affects everyone from NASCAR to anything. Live Nation don't discriminate. They don't care. You're white, black, gay, Israeli, Jewish. They will discriminate against you. They don't care. So I'll give them credit for that. They're anti-discriminate. They don't discriminate. And Michael Rapido, you are the man. You don't discriminate. You should get the trophy of the year for not being the discrimination person. You should get that prize. But I'm asking for people to start with the support. I'm going to be having shirts up there. They're going to be saying lower ticket prices, and everything starts with a voice. Like, my voice didn't even come out purposely. You know what I mean? I came out because I'm trying to get a jury trial. But people are responding. And you know what? If you start that chant going, if you're in a bar down in Jersey, sure, down at Belmar, you know, and down at DJs in Belmar, or you're in Australia, wherever you are, if you're at a hole in the wall bar or a big club, or you're at a concert, before the artist goes on the stage, and you say lower ticket prices, fuck Live Nation, lower ticket prices, fuck Live Nation, really chanting that lower ticket prices. Take a shirt, lower ticket price. I'm going to have them. And it's going to be all that money's going to go, not to me. It's going to be going to a cause to fight this cause. Throw that shirt up on stage. Let's see how many artists will keep throwing that shirt at the artist. You ask where the artist not speak? Let them put on that lower ticket price shirt.
Imagine the uproar that causes.
Watch them not. Watch them not. They're going to be getting booed, throwing stuff off stage on them. So your voice can make a difference. And I'm hoping that my voice, just one person, one victim, the fans of the victim every day. I'm just one person. It ain't about me anymore. I'm hoping that people's voices can start doing it. Everything's social now. Start doing that. Start putting it on your social, demanding Live Nation to lower ticket prices when their CEO is trying to raise them. I believe a lot of emails, a lot of support coming into me, you know, from random people. I just got one today from a guy from Calgary, like Canada. I don't even know where it is. Hey, how can I support you? You know what I mean? Well, thank you very much. Go visit some of my socials, you know? So you can make that difference. And then you can hit up your local legislatures, you know, in New Jersey. If you're in New Jersey right there, hey, we don't want this rebate scheme that Tommy D's talking about. Pass legislation, you know what I mean? Change things. And if you don't, you know what? We'll vote you out. And if you do that, that's the only way you can make change. There's no other.
What you've got to do is on your website. Well, number one, leverage social media, because I think the more you start posting, take clips from this, we'll cut some up for you, send them to you, but just get on there and talk about some of the experiences you have. Tread carefully around obviously what you can and can't talk about, but I think there's enough of a groundswell of people that would pick it up on socials, and once it goes viral, it will go viral
Yeah,
on your website.
I've had millions of views. And if it helps other people out with it, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I
That's it.
I didn't
It's like
come out vocally
everyone's
for any
pissed.
reason, and now I'm like, all right, I can. This is how I can help the scene. Instead of when I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that jury trial, I can help the scene this way.
It's every scene too. You nailed it. It's pro wrestling, it's
Right.
pro football, it's baseball, it's hockey, it's everything. But when you get into the website, the one thing as a web designer myself, I'd say put up a mailing list thing up there so people can sign up and then know when it goes to the call to action to the Congress, to the senators and congressmen, list their name and email. I would almost just give them a template, copy and paste this, click this to send it out to that person, sign your name, like things like that. Because I think
You're
those
absolutely
things,
right, and I just did,
slacktivism.
you're absolutely right. I just started it, so
Yeah.
when some of that money, when I put these shirts up for sale in there that go in there, that'll go to increase these and fix those things like that. That site
Well, you
is,
talk to me off air. We'll fix those things like
yeah,
that without
yeah.
any money,
But
without
that's
any
just
money involved.
it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's just a start. It's
Yeah.
a start. But it's happened with nothing. It's really just been my voice.
amazing.
There's no dollars behind it. There's nothing behind it. There's nobody else behind it. Except my awesome assistant that helps me. That Live
That's
Nation
amazing.
tried to bribe and pay off.
Wow.
Imagine that in recent times. I'm
Not
lucky.
surprised.
Amazing.
She didn't take the money.
Not surprised.
Tim,
You know
were
what this
shaking
makes
your
me
finger
think
there.
of? Well, what I was gonna say was this: if
Well,
Tommy, when you're
I lied,
successful,
they tried to bribe her and take the money. There you go.
when
did it.
when you are eventually successful, right, and Live Nation is taken down, and there is some action that's taken, it helps everyone, right? So it helps the American people, not just the American people, but people around the world, right? Because ticket prices are lowered, and let's face it, the economy ain't doing too great right now. Most people can't afford groceries. I mean, the average age of a home buyer is 40 years old. The economy is not well, so it serves the people well for ticket prices to be lowered, but it helps the venues, right? With this, once we get rid of this illegal, kickback rebate scheme, it helps the artists. It literally helps everyone. So everybody can't speak. You'd think I'd be able to speak tonight. I kind of talk for a living. It helps everybody. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching it, Tommy, we'll give you an opportunity to let everybody know where they can find you before we sign off here. Get involved, man. There's no reason why you shouldn't be signing your name on this petition. It's literally gonna help everybody. What I was also going to say was this reminds me, I see this clip every so often and I have to watch it whenever I come across it on social media. It's an interview with Nirvana from, I'm sure it's sometime in the early 90s, and they're talking, whoever's interviewing is asking them about ticket prices, and they say, how do you feel that Madonna, some people are paying $50 to go to a concert? And Kurt Cobain's eyes pop out of his head. It's like, what? He's like, $50? He's like, who charges $50 to go to a concert? And the interviewer said Madonna, and he was just blown away. And, they're talking amongst themselves. They're like, I think we charge $17. And it's funny. I granted, right? We're talking about 30 years ago. But how would Kurt Cobain feel today when people are paying hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars to go to a live music event? It's just bananas how not only times have changed, but it's not just times, it's the fact that you have a monopoly and one company controlling everything.
Yeah, it's disgusting when people have to decide if they can buy groceries, make a car payment, skip a mortgage payment, skip a rent payment to go to a fucking concert. It's disgusting.
Yeah, have a little bit of entertainment. Yep. Well, Tim alluded to it. Where can we find you online? Where can people follow up? Where can they follow what you're doing? Where can they get involved?
So number one site is TommyDJuiceEntertainment.com. On there it has most up-to-date information on my case. ShutDownLiveNation.com. You guys will chat with me. Thank you very much. That's the one I'm working on. That's called for action. And I want to just say, watching that hearing today, I actually want to thank Kid Rock for going out there. I know he's got a lot of money and a lot of stuff, but still he's putting his ass on the line and nobody else is doing it, in the artist side. So I want to thank Kid Rock, and he's asking for the Senate to investigate these contracts and documents and information. Lots of boxes of them right there. So if anybody in the Senate is interested, or Kid Rock, you're interested in chatting, feel free to reach out. But I want to thank him for doing it for the fans, because he doesn't need to do it. He could stuff more money in his pocket, like a lot of the other artists. I'm not talking bad against them again, but I give him props for that. And he's really doing it. If you listen to him today, I was like, wow, he hit home for me. He's doing it for the fans. And I'm doing this for the fans. Obviously, I'm not a Kid Rock, but I'm doing this for the fans, you know? So I just want to say that it's nice that when you said nobody else is doing it, thank Kid Rock for doing it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm thanking him, and fans should thank him.
Yeah, seriously.
You should
And
go to
we're
his
going to try to tag him in this. We'll tag him in this. Hopefully, every one of you can retweet it, repost it, whatever platform you're on, to make him notice, that there is people behind him that appreciate him putting his name on the line. We'll post all those links in the comments. So if you guys didn't catch that, check it out. YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. I've got one favor from you, though, that I have to ask.
Oh, you can't. You're asking for that cookbooks right now, aren't you?
when you win this case, I want the settlement to include the domain name sfx.com, because Live Nation owns it, and my business is SFX, and I own the domain name s-fx, and I have tried for probably 17 years to get that domain name from them. And their IT department is so stupid that every time that I reach out to about it, they keep me CC'd on it while they try to shit talk me and say that they're not going to sell it to me. And then I always call them right back out on it and say, maybe you should understand how to use IT. That's all I want you to tell me. I want that domain name that's not doing anything. It's dead. It's sitting there.
I would help you if I could. The reason I can't is because there's going to be no settlement. I'm taking them to a full-blown jury trial, and this is going to a jury of the peers, and they're going to a full-blown jury trial. So otherwise, I got your back, but I can't do anything because it's going to a jury trial. The jury, ask the jury. I can ask my lawyer, ask the jury to put that in there on the verdict.
Send it to me. They're not even using it. That's what drives me crazy. They're not even using it. Too funny. Can't thank you enough for sharing your story here with us, and honestly for doing what you're doing. I don't think people quite realize the probably mental, emotional toll it probably takes on you to go through this, to have gone through it, and then to kind of, get over it to a degree. You said you just started speaking up about it maybe about a year ago, but to bring that back up and be willing to put your name back out there after your reputation was already crushed by this company, but to do this for really no other reason but to make sure that other people aren't getting screwed. So on behalf of concert goers and event goers, thank you, because I'm sure you don't hear it enough, and I'm sure that sometimes it feels like you're fighting a wall, but I think
much appreciated. I appreciate that, but what you guys can do is get out there, go to a bar, and start that lower ticket price chant. Lower ticket prices, fuck Live Nation. Start that chant. I'll have some lower ticket prices shirts. Get those. It'll have Shut Down Live Nation on it right there. Get those. Put it on your social medias. Anybody can do it across the world, and you can make change. That's the biggest thing.
That's the key right there. Record it, everyone, when you go out. We're not bar goers as much anymore, so it might be more like a matinee or a happy hour.
The Mexican wave. You guys remember? It went across the whole thing. This can be that. How would nice would it be at a Live Nation concert?
That's a great idea.
Artist is not even on yet, and everybody's chanting lower fucking ticket prices. Fuck Live Nation. You know what? Their CEO said he wants to raise ticket prices.
Yeah.
Imagine him going into the stadium with that going on and going on the stage and say, hey, I'm Michael Rapino. Let's raise ticket prices. I don't think it's going to turn out so good for him, do you?
I don't think so either. There you go.
Love it.
Tag us, hashtag it, do whatever you guys going to do, but record that when you go out. Because that is, again, it's one of those things where once people start seeing it, it becomes a viral moment, especially in college campuses. They'll eat that stuff up. But thank you. Seriously, cannot thank you enough. To our audience out there, remember to like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you guys do. We are conspiracyrealist.com. You can find Tommy's links all in the comments below, or in that little description section, whatever it is. But leave us a comment. Let us know your horror stories of Live Nation. And honestly, if you have anything that might be of use or substance, reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with Tommy directly so we can fight this thing together. Until next time, our drinks are tapped. We will see you on the next one.